Nutritious and incredibly delicious, walnuts are familiar to most of us from the early childhood. Many people use them as an ingredient in various dishes, as well as a little snack and an independent meal. Walnuts are loved not only by people, but also by many pets and wild animals. Squirrels, badgers, wild boars, hamsters, parrots, and even some dogs enjoy eating them. The secret of such popularity of walnuts is not only in the pleasant taste, but also in the unique composition. The history of walnut tree can reach a height of 25 meters and live up to 400 years. Its original homeland is not exactly established, but wild plants are found in the Caucasus, Transcaucasia, Central Asia, and the Mediterranean. Generally, the trees prefer warm climate. The first references to the nut in Europe date back to the 5th to 7th centuries BC. It's believed that the plant came to Greece from Persia. The Greek people called it the royal nut. They were valued highly. The common folk were not allowed to eat walnuts. The Latin name of the plant translates as royal acorn. Later, walnut came from Greece to Kievan Rus. Dyes made from walnuts were used for fabrics and hair, and tannins were used to treat leather. The leaves were used in folk medicine and fishing. They contain aromatic substances that fishermen in Transcaucasia used to intoxicate fish. Nowadays, you can attend the annual festival of walnut in Armenia. Nutritional value of walnuts. Walnuts contain large amounts of vegetable protein, unsaturated fatty acids, carbohydrates, macro and micro elements. In addition, this plant contains a unique set of minerals and vitamins necessary for the full activity of the human body. These substances are vitamins A, C, E, K, and PP, a complex of B vitamins, and folic acid, magnesium, iodine, zinc, potassium, phosphorus, fluorine, sodium, copper, sulfur, and other substances that contribute to maintaining human health. The nut contains a lot of essential oils, fiber, and tannins. The caloric content of walnuts can reach 8,500 kilocalories per kilogram, while both biological composition and nutritional value of them can differ significantly depending on the ripeness and the region of growth. For example, unripe nuts contain huge amounts of vitamin C. It's almost 50 times more than in another vitamin C record holder, lemon. And ripe walnuts have a more varied set of substances and mineral compounds that are good for health. Beneficial properties of walnuts. Doctors recommend eating walnuts for people of almost all ages, both adults and children, older than 2 or even better 3 years old. The nuts not only fill with energy, give strength and stimulate all the most important processes in the body, but also increase the resistance to various diseases. Adding walnuts to your diet improves the functioning of the cardiovascular system, normalizes processes of protein and fat metabolism, and contributes to the overall strengthening of the immune system. Walnuts are especially good for health in fall and spring, when the risk of getting viral infections and colds increases. Substances contained in walnuts can improve the functioning of the hematopoietic organs, normalize blood glucose levels, strengthen the walls of blood vessels, and prevent the formation of cholesterol and sclerotic plaques. Walnut is an excellent antioxidant, so it can be an effective means for preventing cancer. It also has a positive effect on the state of the genitourinary system and digestive tract. The walnut protein helps restore the natural intestinal microflora, eliminating constipation and dysbiosis. The kernel is not the only part of walnut that is good for health. The nutshell, partitions, pericarp husk, and even leaves have special applications, not as food of course, but as components for medicinal decoctions and brews. Benefits of walnut for women. The benefits of walnuts for a woman's body are undeniable. They improve women's health in general and have a special positive effect on the reproductive system. Regular consumption of walnuts increases stress tolerance and performance in general, saturates the body with energy and activates the brain, normalizes the work of the thyroid gland, hormonal background, and menstrual cycle. Improves the condition of nails and hair, making them healthy and strong. Reduces pain during menstruation. Reduces the risk of varicose veins, gives a sufficient amount of folic acid, which helps prepare the woman's body for future conception and pregnancy. During pregnancy, when the body uses all its resources for carrying a child, and so a proper balanced diet is needed, eating walnuts is especially healthy. It not only has a beneficial effect on the intrauterine development of the fetus and contributes to its proper formation, but also helps future mothers tolerate all changes in the body easily and recover faster after the childbirth. The unique composition and properties of walnuts will also be useful during breastfeeding. The nuts can provide all the necessary elements and substances to both the woman and the child, make the milk more nutritious, and help in the formation of the child's immunity. However, eating walnuts by pregnant and lactating women should be discussed with a doctor, and the permitted norm must not be exceeded. The benefits of walnut for men. Walnuts are good for men's health as well. They contain the entire set of microelements and vitamins necessary for the production of testosterone, the main hormone responsible for men's health. Regular consumption of walnuts helps restore the work of sexual glands, increases libido, and has a positive effect on the potency and quality of sperm. Therefore, many doctors recommend this product to married couples who want to have a child. Walnut is also good for men in terms of preventing such unpleasant diseases as prostatitis and prostate adenoma. Benefits for children. For children, walnuts are not just good but even necessary. The nuts will not only provide the young growing body with almost all the necessary nutrients, but will also reduce the risk of obesity, increase the body's resistance to viral diseases and colds, improve brain activity and memory, so it will be easier for the child to study, relieve nervous tension and fatigue, stabilize the emotional state, and improve stress resistance. Walnuts can be added to the diet at the age of 2 or 3, when the intestinal microflora is already prepared for digesting solid foods. It's better to start with small quantities, literally 2 or 3 crushed walnut kernels a day, then the norm can be gradually increased in the absence of negative reactions from the body. How many walnuts should you eat? The daily norm. Despite all the usefulness, walnuts can do more harm than good if you eat too much of them. First of all, this product is extremely high in calories, so people who are obese or overweight have to consult a nutritionist about it. In this case, the daily norm is determined individually. Secondly, there are other limitations. For example, people with nut allergies and various skin diseases like psoriasis, neurodermatitis, or eczema should give up eating walnuts. Its allergenic properties can provoke an exacerbation of the disease. It's also not recommended to eat walnuts for those who suffer from a high degree of obesity or excessive blood clotting. For patients with pancreatitis, gastritis exacerbations, and gastrointestinal ulcers, it's necessary to eat the nut with caution. Other people to whom walnuts are not contraindicated can eat them daily for general strengthening of the immune system, normalization of internal organs, and prevention of diseases. Still, you should adhere to the following rules. It's not recommended to eat more than 100 grams, 11 or 12 kernels at a time. For regular daily use, the norm is about 8 to 10 pieces for an adult and 5 to 7 pieces for children and elderly people. For pregnant women, the daily norm should be reduced to 3 or 4 nuts a day, and during lactation to 2 or 3 nuts, so as not to cause a negative reaction from the child. For the same reason, it's not recommended to give more than half a walnut kernel to a child for the first time. Later, the number of nuts may be increased if there's no negative reaction during the day. In case of heartburn or other unpleasant sensations, the quantity is reduced or the nuts are completely excluded from the menu. You can eat walnuts during the day not only as a separate little snack, but also by adding them to bakery, desserts, or cocktails. The use of walnuts in cooking. Walnuts are a great addition to many main and side dishes and desserts. They usually serve as an additive to other foods, but sometimes the nuts are used to make jam or paste. Beetroot salad with walnuts. It's a healthy and easily digestible snack that can be spread on bread or eaten as a side dish. Here's what you will need: 2 beetroots, a handful of walnut kernels, 1 or 2 cloves of garlic, 2 tablespoons of sour cream, salt to taste. Wash the beetroots, boil them until soft, then cool and peel. Grate the beetroot and garlic. Cut the nuts with a knife, mix the ingredients, add salt and sour cream. Stuffed apples with walnuts, a wonderful dessert or lunch. It will also look nice on any feast, especially when served hot with a scoop of vanilla ice cream. Here's what you will need: 3 sweet and sour hard apples, a handful of prunes, dried apricots or raisins, 6 walnut halves without shells, ground cinnamon and honey to taste. Cut the core out of the apples using a knife. Wash and cut the dried fruits, then cut the nuts. Put the mixture inside each apple. Sprinkle them with cinnamon and pour a spoonful of honey. Bake it in an oven at 180 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes depending on the size of the apples. Choosing and storing the nuts. Slightly dried but not heat-treated walnuts are the best. This is because the nuts contain large amounts of polyunsaturated fat, which is oxidized under the influence of high temperatures. It may bring a slightly burnt taste. In addition, after frying, the nut loses some substances, which reduces its nutritional value and makes it not as good for health. You can determine the freshness of walnuts by the way they look. The surface of the kernels should be light, with no signs of mold and shriveling. The quality of nuts in shells may also be evaluated visually. There should be no cracks or spots. Walnuts of good quality are also pretty heavy. Walnuts in shells should be stored in a dry and dark place for no more than a year. Peeled kernels are stored in the fridge for up to 4 months. An airtight container will work well. It will allow you to save the beneficial properties of walnuts for as long as possible, as well as protect them from mold. That's all we wanted to tell you today. Click the like button if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. See you in the next videos.